And my coffee is achieved. I have obtained my coffee this morning from Sheetz because at 5 a.m. in the morning, there's not a lot of options. I've made the short commute from Carolina Beach up here to Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, right here on Salisbury Street, ocean access, close to the Johnny Mercer Pier. You see the flag up there. There's a little breeze out here today, but we're up here bright and early this morning to check out a beautiful Wrightsville Beach sunrise, which I have never done before, and I've not been to Wrightsville Beach yet this year, so I thought this would be a good moment to do so. Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Hitchhiking Yeti here. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's going to be a good morning. We're going to have an awesome sunrise. I'm in Wrightsville Beach. Not been here in over a year. It's been a while. No vlogs up here in this area for this past year. So this is my first one in this. It's August. So we're going to knock this out this morning. I think it's going to be really beautiful. Look at that sky. Look at that color back there. This is going to be nice. So thank you for joining me today. Got some plans today. We're going to check out this palm tree island that's been in my social media feed now for quite some time. Very crazy. But this palm tree island, the palm tree was actually planted on this island that can only be visible as a sandbar, let's be honest. But it is an island nonetheless at low tide, supposedly. I don't know if it's a year-round, how, you know, what kind of low tide it needs, if it needs one really, really low, lower than normal. But all that being said, there is a palm tree on it. There is a flagpole now with like an American flag and another flag on it. Might be a Wrightsville Beach flag, I'm not really sure. Never been that close, so I've only seen it from distance. But as a joke, it has a parking meter on the island also, which I thought was hilarious because Wrightsville Beach kind of, at least here in New Hanover County, kicked off the whole paid parking at the beach thing. Boo. Because when they started, it was like a few years later. Carolina Beach started, then Curie Beach started, and then it made its way over in the Brunswick beaches, and there's just paid parking everywhere now, man. All these people just get richer. But all that being said, thank you for hanging out with me. Right there's the Johnny Mercer Pier sign, and boy, everybody is got their surfboards today. I've seen several sets of surfers make their way out here toward the beach to get little waves in this morning here at sunrise. Really cool. Ooh, that's really awesome. Now, I've been up here in the past, and they always have this like raised art right here on the beach, and it's always, you know, has Jesus's name in it. You know, I don't know, I can't remember what it said in the past. I don't know if the message is always the same or not, but I'm here this morning to actually see the artist that, you know, maintains this signage hard at work over here. That is pretty cool. All right, so the young man I just spoke to, he said, yeah, him and his dad comes out here every morning and maintains this sign. That is amazing. And today, as you can see, it says Jesus, and it's going to say amen up here on the top. Amen, Jesus is what it's going to say. But they go to a little chapel church here locally, and they come out here every day, year in and year out, bright and early in the morning, and maintain this signage right here next to Johnny Mercer's Pier. That is quite amazing. I mean, I asked the young man, I was like, do y'all come up here like every day? Like he said, yes, like every day. Weather permitting, they come up here every day. Even if it's cold, it doesn't matter. They're dedicated to it. Making sure when you come to Johnny Mercer's Pier, you see that signage. So, dang, you got to tip your hat to them. That is some real dedication and loyalty. All right, so just to give you a little bit of backstory about this interesting pier. Johnny Mercer's Pier is really cool because notice it's all concrete. You do not see that every day, at least here on the East Coast. But this original structure of this pier was actually built back in the 1930s. Back then it was called the Atlantic View Pier. Johnny Mercer himself actually purchased the pier in 1939 and renamed it after himself. So the wooden pier that Johnny purchased actually lasted all the way into 1954. And unfortunately, if you know anything about 1954, that's the year that Hurricane Hazel hit, and it destroyed the Johnny Mercer fishing pier here in Wrightsville Beach. So after Hurricane Hazel, Johnny Mercer continued to manage the pier all the way up until his death of 1964. And after Johnny Mercer's death, his wife ended up selling the pier in 1969 to Bob and Shirley Johnson. And then in 1996, the wooden pier era come to an end because they had Hurricane Bertha in July and Hurricane Fran in September of 1996. It devastated the wooden pier, and from that point on, they said no more wooden pier. We're going to go with concrete, and they did the construction on it, and all that took place in 1999. So there is a little fun fact about this awesome concrete pier that you can find here in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. It's so awesome to see so many people out here making their way out here to the beach here. First light has already happened, and people got their towels out. Some of them even brought some beach chairs, which I think would have been a great idea. And it's sad because I actually have my chair in the back of my truck left over from yesterday, where me and my family went out to the beach and had a little beach day. But yeah, nice little turnout this morning. And maybe the surfers are completed. They just exited the water, or maybe they're going to get out and watch the sunrise before hitting it again. There comes the sun. It's getting a little bit higher now. It kind of broke through. You could see it, the tip of it a little bit on the very top of the sun, and then the clouds were moving. It kind of covered it back up. Yeah, they're making us work for this sunrise this morning, all those clouds out there. But man, beautiful nonetheless. That is so awesome. Love seeing some sunrises at the beach. And just like that, the clouds covered it back up one more time. There we go. Get on out of the way, clouds. Let the sun shine through. There we go. There's the sun busting through those clouds. Nice. All right, that is going to pretty much do it. The sun's up. Now it's time to do a little exploring around the island. We might move up to the north around Shell Island Resort. Go up there and see how the mailboxers are doing. It's like I said, it's been a while since I've been here. Let's go up there and see if they're still functional. See what kind of shape the mailboxes out on the beach is like. Thought I would kind of check in on the young man that's out here working on this signage before I leave. Looks like he's got the Jesus part of the sign pretty much sharpened up, looking really, really good. He'll probably be starting on the Amen part, the upper letters, shortly. That's really amazing. Every day comes out here and takes care of this signage right here next to the pier. Really cool. I'm so fascinated with that. That's some real dedication. All right, we're making our way towards Shell Island now. That is the location of the mailbox on the beach with the notebook and the writing utensils. Go down here and see how the mailboxes are holding up toward the end of this summer here in 2025. And as you can see, right here is the parking access, and it is completely full. So sad trombone. There will be no access to the mailboxes today here in Wrightsville Beach. All right, little change of plan. Had to drive down a little bit further. I did find another parking location, little parking lot right here behind me. It's free to 9 a.m. so I have the time, but have a little bit more walk to make it to the mailboxes. So this is going to be an adventure. I'll check this out. This is a kind of a cool looking pathway out to the beach. This is like old school in it. Walking through the sand. All the tall grass or sea oats. This is pretty awesome. Look how beautiful the beach is. Look how wide it is here. It is monstrous. Beautiful white sand. That is nice. I don't know if you guys can see him, but there's a guy way off in the distance out there in the water. And he is kicking it around. He's not surfing on a wave. Looks like he's on a foil board. And I have never seen anybody ride a foil board. I don't know how that's working because he's just motoring around. He's going all over the place. I don't know if he's got a little propeller on that thing or what's going on, but man, that is awesome. All right, there goes the guy. Now he just ate it. He fell down. And look at that. He's on his knees, cruising along. Now he's back up on his feet. He don't need a wave. He just rides his board around out here. That is so awesome. I mean, that's just fun. He don't need a wave. He don't need the energy from an incoming wave. He just stands up and rides. I'm gonna have to Google that. I have to know how that works. I have never seen anything like that before. That is just too cool. And I think it's got like an elongated like foil that goes off the bottom of the board, probably sticks down several feet, because the board actually raises out of the water when he gets enough speed. It kind of floats up out of the water. It's really neat looking. Look at that. Yeah, man, that's cool. That is awesome. You just never know what you're going to see at the beach. You can see all kinds of toys. All right, I made my way down here to the Shell Island Resort. And as I scroll over to the right, you can see a couple mailboxes right there in front of the sand dunes. We're going to head over in that direction. That's the place we're headed to. All right, I made it. Here they are. Here's the mailboxes. And even the little one is still surviving. That is so cool. Really, really awesome. The mailbox at Wrightsville Beach. Leave a note. Look at that. Even has a little Wrightsville Beach Museum sticker on the side of it, or molded into the plastic. I can't really tell, but pretty cool. Yeah, man, these things are really doing good. Somebody's got some really little keepsakes on the back that they found right here at Shell Island. And I have heard if you keep walking north, like over here at the inlet, which is what divides Wrightsville Beach from the prestigious Figure 8 Island, there is some really good shells over there, people say. I can't say because I've done it, because I've never tried it before, but I used to know a co-worker years ago that would come down here, and that's where they would go in the winter months when there wasn't a lot of people here. At low tide, the north end of Wrightsville Beach, beyond Shell Island, she even claimed the tide got low enough at times where you could pretty much, if the sandbar's right, you could pretty much walk over to Figure 8 Island. That would be kind of cool. All right, open the door up. They do have some pins in there, more shells, a little bit of sand, very beachy in there. Look at all those notebooks they got in there where people's been writing their little, thoughts and stuff, leaving little messages for other people. I love stuff like this. I just think it is so cool. Something neat. It all started, at least for me, at Sunset Beach, down on Bird Island at Sunset Beach is the first time I've ever seen a mailbox on a beach quite like that. But a lot of communities here, including Carolina Beach or Pleasure Island, down at Fort Fisher, we have one also. And this one don't have no notebooks or anything, but it does have a quite abundance of shells. That is a little weird. Yeah, the shell box. So we are exiting the Shell Island Resort area. Absolutely nice little spot. A lot of seashells out here on the beach. My gosh, I know why they call it Shell Island, because there's seashells everywhere. Quite a few people this morning out here trying to get some good shells before the crowds get here at the beach. Totally understandable here early in the morning. But now I think we're just going to make our way back down there to the parking lot where I parked and head on over and try to get parked as close as I can to Palm Tree Island. We cannot get to Palm Tree Island because I do not have a paddleboard or access to a boat. Don't even know if the island's going to be out of the water. I'm not sure. It is low tide, but sometimes, sand shifts and stuff, so we might not really see much of an island, but we will see a palm tree extended out of the water. And probably a flag. There's normally a flag there sticking up out of the water also, a flagpole. And the kicker to this whole thing I think is really cute is, Wrightsville Beach is really known for its paid parking. It's been a paid parking community for many, many years, and longer than any other beach here in New Hanover County. And they actually have a parking meter out on this little island in the intercoastal. So I like that. I think that's great. That's really a lot of fun. So all that being said, let's head on in that direction, and then we're going to wrap it up today. Really appreciate, as always, you guys hanging out with me. It's been a fun little adventure this morning. All right, well, I have made my way over here to this little boat access area, and this is the best, probably about the closest place I could find to get close to the Palm Tree Island where we can view it. As you can see right here is the bridge that allows you passage over, the drawbridge that allows you passage over to Wrightsville Beach. And right out here in front of me, you can already see people making their way on to Palm Tree Island. You can see the flag out there. Is that not cool? and you got the palm tree. And that palm tree was put in that place in the year 2000. It has been there for 25 years. As people are, it looks like they're on their canoes, paddle boards, making their way over to the island. I think that is just so awesome. That is so cool. Man, I hope someday I can go over there and stand on that island, take some pictures, and kind of check it out. Who knows what might happen in the future? We might can totally do it. All right, my friends, that will pretty much do it for me today. Hope you enjoyed today's video. We got to see a nice little Wrightsville Beach sunrise. Made our way down to the north end around Shell Island. Check out the mailboxes. Really, really cool. Parking was something else. I'm glad I got here early, because if you would have waited to after 6:15, parking would have been hard to find, because a lot of people was using the free parking in these parking locations to watch the sunrise and maybe do a little early morning shell hunting. That's what my guess is. So, all that being said, thank you so much as always for all your support, hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. And say so long to Palm Tree Island this morning. It's really awesome. I was hoping that low tide would be low enough when I got here where we could actually see the sand. And sure enough, it happened. Right there it is. It is actually a real thing. I'm so happy, man, to get to see this right here live and in person and bring it to you guys, for you guys know now. So next time you drive across the bridge over to Wrightsville Beach, right across that drawbridge right there, don't forget to look off to your left, or if you're exiting, look off to your right, and you can see Palm Tree Island, which I gotta say is pretty cool, because they have their own clothing line, hats, t-shirts, all that good stuff. All right, thank you so much for watching. Till next time, friends, I'm the Hitchhiking Yeti, and I will see you in my next adventure.